Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCW Life Community Calendar at ncwlife.com.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. I am filming the opening to the show from my house. It looks a bit like the set at the studio, but that was kind of the point when we designed the set. I am back from the Don't Wait Project tour. I've been home for a couple of weeks now, and I have to say it is so good to be back. If you were following along the tour, you know that my computer took a great big dive in the last couple of weeks of the tour, but it was going to take a dive anyway. It was on its last leg, so I'm really grateful that it died when it did, because it allowed me to slow my pace a bit. It was a blessing in disguise. I still filmed and met people and interviewed and traveled and did all the things that were planned. I just was no longer editing, exporting, and doing all the things that go on behind the scenes when producing this show from the road every single week. What you'll see at the beginning of this show is a young man in Redding, California, who is doing amazing work honoring veterans. If you want to support his mission, you'll find out how at the end of his segment. The other part of the show is my stop in Sacramento, which was a bit of a challenge for me personally, only because I was really, really sick. It's the one and only time that I accepted the offer from one of my friends to sleep in her guest room in her house instead of in my camper at my campsite. I really needed a good night's sleep. I needed to rest up. I had 3 days, 3 locations to film the next day. The next day after that was an event, and then the following day, the third day, was a drive all the way to Los Angeles. So it was exactly what I needed to regroup and rest up. So my childhood friend, Caroline, she took such good care of me. I had breakfast in bed, and she even scheduled a massage. So huge shout out to Caroline. Also a huge shout out to Diana Jorgensen. She's pretty much responsible for every single amazing thing that happened in Sacramento, and you'll see her toward the end of the show. What you'll see throughout the Sacramento stop is a lot of passionate people who love their city, who see change that needs to happen, who are part of that change. Today starts all new episodes of the Life with Lisa Bradshaw show along the tour, starting now.
The name of my organization is Vet Flags and Flowers.
And how did you come up with this idea?
I came up with this idea by coming out on Veterans Day of 2015, right after my 10th birthday. And when I went here, I went to honor my grandfather that was a veteran with a flag. And when I went here, I was thinking that there would be other flags out on the veterans' grave sites. And when I came here and when I didn't see anybody placing flags out or any flags on the veterans' grave sites, I got really frustrated, and it was just heartbreaking that they weren't honored on Veterans Day and that they weren't honored at all and didn't have a flag on their gravesite, and it wasn't right. So I wanted to help make things right, and so my mom taught me if you see something wrong to do something about it.
You've accomplished quite a lot. You set some
Yeah.
big goals and you have continued goals.
Yeah, so I just feel like really glad that I went here on Veterans Day to honor my grandfather, because it's not really me who started this, it was the veterans, because for everything that they do for us, and I'm just trying to honor them, and that's what I'm doing. So since that day, I've placed over 40,000 flags and flowers out on veterans' grave sites.
So you have a pretty big goal. Where have you placed the flag so far?
My first goal was to honor veterans in the Redding cemeteries and surrounding areas. So I completed that 2 years ago, and last year I completed from honoring veterans from Redding to Sacramento. And now my goal is to honor veterans in all 50 states, and so far I've done 8 states.
Are you wanting high-speed internet but don't have access to PUD fiber? Try Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet from LocalTel. Call 888-8888 today.
My name is Maury Elliott. I'm the principal here at Sava Charter School. We serve about 1,000 students in Sacramento who come to us primarily because they have struggled in a traditional high school setting. So we're a blended model where students are on campus 2 to 4 days a week, offering core academics, but then also our big focus is the building trades, the CTE or Career Tech Ed. So today we have our construction pathway students working on building tiny homes for homeless vets, along with Wells Fargo volunteers. They're going to build this house today. It should be finished up by the end of the week, and we will send it off to the Kavanaugh nonprofit organization who will use it to help house homeless vets in the Sacramento community.
So have you guys learned some skills by doing this?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We can get dirty with the best of them.
We just see that between this high school and Kavanaugh, this partnership is making real change in our community, and we're excited to be a part of that today.
9 high schools.
9 high schools. We're 9 high schools now. They've got like 34 high schools that are wanting to program, and you know, it teaches the kids skills and it puts the trades back in the high school. So for these kids here at Sava, I mean, it's giving them the skills to build, and you know, if you know how to build things, you'll always have a job. So that's what's important.
Just trying to get this edge perfect or straightened out so I can sand it down and make it nice and smooth like this one.
What is it going to be?
It's going to be a chair. The one chair like that.
Gotcha.
You said measure this and divide it?
No, measure the width this way, each board.
Just a board like this, or
Yeah.
from edge to edge?
Just because this is the part
So
that
this
is
is
going
6
to.
inches.
It's exactly 6? Okay, now you want to measure the width of our building.
Hey Jay?
Vacuuming this window seal.
78 3/4.
Okay, so what is that in metric? 78 point what?
78.75.
Exactly.
So today we're learning how to, we cleaned off the floor, and then we're getting it ready, we're putting down some insulation, and then we're going to get ready to lay the flooring down. It's going to be pretty cool, and that's the plan for today. We might end up painting the walls as well.
What else have you learned about? Do you know how to do this start to finish now through the process?
Pretty much, yeah. Started since sophomore year, so it comes pretty easy now. It's pretty natural.
How long have you been doing it?
2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
These guys are at the top. They're Construction 3, and they also are in our Create class, which is another class where we design and compete against other high schools in a design contest where they have to do a visual and verbal presentation before a committee of like 12 industry leaders in the community and design a project downtown against other high schools that are doing the same project but coming up with different ideas. And so this year we entered it and we won it against 13 other high schools that are way bigger than we are, with a lot more resources, I think. So you divide 78.75 by 0.5, right? Yeah, you can use your phone.
13. 13.125.
Yeah. So 13 pieces will be fine. It'll be almost exactly, right? So we'll have 13 full pieces if we start here. And the thing is, we're going to leave a 1/4 inch space when we start.
Yeah.
And
it's
so,
only going to take 2 boards to go across, right?
When students know they have a purpose and a mission behind what they're doing, it expands the learning tenfold. They come to school excited. They come to school ready to learn and ready to serve others, and it's just great to see how the class transforms them over time.
Well, you're way ahead, I'm guessing, of most, high school graduates are going to hire.
Yeah.
With the skills you have gained.
Hope it gets me somewhere.
For all the latest news in North Central Washington, go to ncwlife.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-2020.
My name is Lisa Kwashnik. I'm the co-founder of Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh is a Hebrew word. It stands for intention or direction of the heart. So this is Destination Home. It's one of the projects that Kavanaugh does. What we've done with this particular house is we purchased it. It was a mess inside, just really dirty and messy, and so we cleaned it up, renovated it, put in new cabinets, new appliances, redid the bathrooms so that we would have a really nice place for veterans to live. So come on inside, I'll show you. Nice laminate flooring in here, and we furnished the home. Oh, the kitchen's a little messy because we're having our build day today, so we've got all kinds of snacks here, but we put in new cabinets, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops.
And veterans live here? How many?
There are a total of 6 veterans that are living here. 4 are inside of the home and 2 are in tiny houses in the backyard, and we'll show you those too. So there's a full laundry here. There's 4 bedrooms inside, and we created a hallway so that the second bathroom would be accessible to all bedrooms, so there wasn't one master bath. And then this allows the men that are living in the tiny houses to come in this way. And we've got volunteers from Wells Fargo and All City Homes that are here helping us build a fence and garden.
Yeah, I'll ask him.
And then these are the 2 tiny houses. So both of these homes were built by high school students. One was built by students in Wood Creek High School, and another was built by students at Laguna Creek High School.
Yeah, just something to keep it down.
And this is Lisa with the dump rate.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you finally.
Nice to meet you too.
What you got going on here?
We're going to spread a little rock and make a pathway.
So Sean was our first tenant in the very first tiny house built by students. So Sean's tiny house was built by students at Luther Burbank High School here in Sacramento. And then that tiny house was placed on a church property in Del Paso Heights. Sean was really good friends with the pastor and had been a member of that church for a long time.
Thanks, Pastor Nugent.
Yeah. And so how long were you there?
Just about a year, or not quite a year.
9 months.
And yeah, and then because I was progressing at such a rate that I earned the opportunity to move into the Wallace house. Earned the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I love that. I went from being invisible virtually out at the creek to being somebody I got to throw away, cut up, mind you, and throw away my EBT card and trade it up for a Bank of America debit card.
I had a dream at night and woke up the next morning and I was to draw out a drawing of this little building, and I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I don't really understand, God, why you're asking me to draw this. And so I drew out this little tiny house, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this? I'm a real estate broker. It's not my deal. And God said the next day, you're going to have high school students build it. I'm like, a what? My high school student graduated 6 years ago. I don't know anybody at high school anymore. And so, okay, God, if that's what you're asking me to do, I'll do it. And so we started just coming up with an idea and a concept, and then it was like a month later, one of the schools we ran into, which was Luther Burbank High School, found out they were doing sheds in the back, and so we went to approach them and asked them if they'd be interested in building a tiny house for homeless veterans instead of just building a shed. And we saw a switch in the students' attitudes about what they were doing, and the class actually began to grow because people were coming saying, we'd like to be a part of making a difference in the community. And so from that little tiny house grew the first tiny house, and then Sean became the first person that moved in, which is a story in and of itself.
And only like 2 years ago, I never had even the inclination that I'd have this Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Lisa.
And so the reason Sean's so excited about the credit that he has too is that his goal is to actually purchase this house soon. So we're hoping within the next year, Sean will be able to be a homeowner. And we just think that's an incredible story, going from, you know, when we first met him, he was living in a tent where two creeks met, a beautiful area that he kept completely clean. And we were excited for him to move into the tiny house, but then we quickly realized that someone transitioning out of the tiny house is the bigger success story. And so for him to move here was incredible too. And we've just been helping, you know, walk alongside of him, teaching him how to build credit so that he can be a homeowner. And we're
I'm at 6:15 right now.
So one of the things that's pretty neat about today is at about 11:15, Sean and I are going to go back over to Sava, which is where they're building the tiny houses. And one of the companies that supports what we're doing is called Velara. They're like the largest student. Sorry. We're going to see if we can get him a job at Velara, because then he'll have W-2 income, because Sean wants to buy the Sava house. And with the W-2 income, he'll be able to qualify for the financing, for VA financing, to purchase this house. And he'll continue what Kavanaugh does through helping other homeless veterans, but he'll actually be the owner of the home.
It's all about the Lord and just have an opportunity. All of life is opportunity. Do we seize them and can command them, or do we let them pass by?
Have a fun video you'd like to see featured on NCW Life? Email us at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
Enjoy the last segment of the show. We gathered at a location called Cupro's in downtown Sacramento. People came and shared their stories. They also shared their passions for nonprofit organizations in their community. Some of them are founders and some of them are volunteers. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Amy from Sacramento, California. I started a nonprofit called One Less Worry in 2009, and the reason I started it was to preserve my friend's memory, Teresa, who died of cancer in 2009, leaving behind 3 kids. I wanted to help keep her memory alive, but also to help other people going through what she went through. She was worried about finances as she was struggling with dying from cancer, and we basically raise money. We pick 2 recipients every year from our local community, Sacramento, who are undergoing cancer treatment. We give the money directly to them that we raise, and they can spend it however they like. Normally it's, usually it's a mortgage payment or medical bills, but also something fun, maybe a trip. Actually, most of our recipients have taken a trip. So, since 2009.
How much money have you raised?
Oh my gosh, every year, it gets larger every year. The average amount, $3,000 to $5,000. So, and it continues to grow. Every year it seems like we raise more money. We're becoming, you know, a little notorious in Sacramento. We do our big event is a pub crawl in East Sacramento, and that's always every October. We do a couple other small events, so for each one we pick a recipient, and it's been a great success.
How do people get in touch with you for more information?
Oh, you can reach us through our Facebook page, which has all of our contact information. It's One Less Worry, Inc. on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For sharing your story.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure your friends are very proud of you.
So my name is Kim Church. I'm a full-time professor here at Sacramento City College, and I'm a native Sacramentan. I've been born and raised. So as a native Sacramentan, I went to college as an undergraduate here at Sac State, but I went away for about 10 years to do some graduate work. And when I came back, I found that the city wasn't the city that I was raised in, and it really wasn't the city that I wanted to pass on to my students or my younger relatives. And I was sort of embarrassed that we had made some of the choices that we had made that created the circumstances that I found. And so I really wanted to do something about it. So a year and a half later, I serve 25 to 30 homeless youth every Tuesday morning. It's a place of safety, and it's become a place of community. I have about 15 to 20 different volunteers, most of whom I never knew before I started this project. The people that came out of the woodwork were not my actual friends, and they weren't my family members, but they were actually neighbors that lived all over Sacramento that were equally frustrated but didn't understand why public officials and all the money that was being spent wasn't going to the people actually on the streets. And so we've started, and 4 other nonprofits have now partnered with me, and so we actually have services. We have street nurses that are coming there now, harm reduction services. I have a clean needle exchange program, and also they can get free HIV, free Hep C testing. We've got some people that are going to bring some art pretty soon, and we've also got some life skills going on.
My name is Mike Sheldon with Phoenix Wellness Centers, and basically I used to have the corporate lifestyle. I was a financial planner, I did engineering for a living, and I always had this calling to serve people and help out in the community, and about 2 years ago I gave that up, my corporate lifestyle, to kind of jump off and go for it. I've been through counseling classes. I now work in a clinic, attaining 3,000 hours worth of clinical time to go out and open my own business and nonprofit to serve the community in drug and alcohol rehabilitation.
So why, of all the things you could have done, why is that what spoke to you?
My personal experience. 2003, I had the experience myself, overcame the addictions, went through the hell of all hells, from suicide attempts to being on the streets to needing to find a way. And I knew at that point, if I could find a way, I was going to eventually need to want to teach other people what I did, whether it's Eastern medicine, meditation, yoga, nutrition, but just the things that I knew helped me, I wanted to pass on to other people and teach them.
So not alternative, but additional support. Did you go through rehab, traditional rehab, or you?
I did traditional, but the things I use in my daily practice are just life skills that most people don't get taught.
And so how far are you from bringing this to fruition?
Days. I am in the process of the website. I'm in the process of finding clients, patients, if you will. Funding is probably going to happen over the next 3 weeks to a month. And by summertime, I'll be serving people.
Is there anything you want to add?
Just that I love the Sacramento community, and I'm seeing things here that aren't being addressed in our community anymore. The problem with homelessness is rising, addiction is rising, and there's not enough services for people to really get the help they need.
So this will help fill the gap?
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing.
Okay, listen, I just wanted to thank all of you lovely ladies that I don't get to see all the time. Caroline, Noelle, and of course you're Sherry, that I'm sure I've met before. So I just wanted to say she was an absolute trooper yesterday morning when the school wasn't ready and she didn't feel well, and I was like, go to sleep in your trailer for an hour, and I am just so impressed with your professionalism and how much you are engaged and willing to talk to all the people in this community that are trying to do great things. And I think what you're doing is so admirable, and I'm honored, and I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity to help you and work with you, and I think we did great things. When she was here for 72 hours, we did some. So, thank you all.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Please join us weekly for the 12th District with yours truly, Carrie Condata. Check your channel guide for times or go to ncwlife.com for details.